Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, Weekend Edition. This week, we're tracking some massive shifts in the tech landscape. We're talking fundamental changes in how we see, talk to, and even hold our most personal devices.
Okay, let's dive right in. We're going to start with Apple's major design and AI overhaul, then zoom out to the colossal AI race that it's now a part of. After that, we'll look at the future of tech, on your face, then a challenger brand making a serious premium play. And finally, how the very shape of our screens is about to get weird.
All right, story number one. Apple is in the middle of one of its biggest transformations in years. They're completely overhauling their signature design language and, maybe more importantly, they're finally making a huge, definitive move into artificial intelligence. So, on the visual front, that flat, minimalist design we've known for, a decade? It's evolving. Apple's introducing something called liquid glass, and it's a whole new UI system that's all about depth, light, and texture. Think frosted glass effects, subtle shadows, and layers that kind of let you see content shining through from underneath.
And this new look is already sparking some fascinating debate online. A lot of people are immediately drawing parallels to Microsoft's Arrow design from the mid-2000s, just like Reddit user Citrus007 pointed out. It's a perfect example of how design trends in tech are often cyclical, right? Old ideas get reinterpreted for a new generation.
Now, this renewed focus on a thoughtful design is such a welcome change, especially when you remember some of Apple's, let's say, questionable choices in the past. Who can forget the Magic Mouse? It's famous for having a charging port on its belly, making it completely unusable while it powers up. Oh, and then there was the original Apple Pencil. Remember that? You had to charge it by sticking it precariously out of the iPad's port. This whole history of sometimes prioritizing form over function is exactly why a big, unified system like liquid glass feels like such a significant step forward for actual usability. But look, this overhaul is way more than just skin deep. There's a new brain, too. Apple Intelligence is the company's long-awaited entry into generative AI, and its big differentiator? Privacy. The system does as much work as possible right there on your device. For the really heavy tasks, it uses something called private cloud compute on Apple's servers, which processes your request without ever storing your data. And for everything else, yeah, it can tap into ChatGPT, but, and this is key, only after it explicitly asks for your permission each time.
But Apple's big entrance doesn't happen in a vacuum. Not at all. It's just the latest move in a massive, high-stakes battle for AI dominance that involves every single major player in tech.
And the cost of admission to this race? It's just staggering. Get this. Just to train one top-tier model like Google's Gemini Ultra costs an estimated $191 million. The sheer amount of cash you need to even compete at this level creates a very, very exclusive club of competitors.
So you've got these giants, and each one is approaching this race with a totally distinct strategy. Apple is playing to its strengths. It's a privacy-first approach, deeply baked into its hardware, and yeah, it's designed to make you want to buy a new iPhone. Then you've got Microsoft, which is all in on the enterprise, embedding its Copilot AI into every single productivity tool. And Google? Well, Google's doing what it does best, weaving its Gemini AI into its billion-user products like Search and Android.
So with costs just exploding and regulations getting tighter, this isn't some simple race to the finish line. And as this intelligence gets more and more powerful, the next question becomes, where is it gonna live? Not just in our phones, but maybe on our faces.
Yep. AI isn't just living in our phones and computers anymore, it is moving on to our faces. Meta's new Ray-Ban smart glasses are a huge technological leap for sure, but they also bring some very complex and, let's be honest, uncomfortable social questions right to the forefront. This kind of tech brings up a powerful concept from social theory called the panopticon. Basically, it describes a state where the mere possibility of being watched leads people to change their own behavior. Think about it. When you're talking to someone wearing smart glasses, the whole dynamic changes. Do you act differently knowing you might be recorded at any second? And this comment from Reddit just perfectly captures the public's anxiety. The little /s for sarcasm at the end really says it all. There is this deep foundational distrust of Meta when it comes to our data, and that is a massive hurdle for this kind of always-on technology to ever get widely adopted. But okay, let's put the privacy stuff aside for just a moment, because the technology itself is undeniably incredible. These are not just glasses with a camera. We're talking live translation with subtitles that appear right in your field of view. You can control them with subtle hand gestures that are detected by a wristband. And there's a continuous AI mode that can identify and tell you about objects in your surroundings.
It is literally straight out of science fiction.
So while the tech titans are waging these multi-billion-dollar wars, a much smaller design-focused company called Nothing is carving out its own space. And they're making a really bold play for the premium market, not by being cheaper, but by being different.
Nothing's strategy is actually pretty simple, but it's super effective. Step 1. Get noticed. Their transparent, industrial design is instantly recognizable. But once they have your attention, their goal is to prove they have the substance to back it up, competing on features and building a sustainable business.
Their new flagship, the Phone 3, is the perfect example of this philosophy. It makes the smart, intentional trade-offs. So it boasts a better display than the iPhone and a bigger battery than a lot of rivals. But to hit that competitive price, it uses a slightly less powerful chip, and its camera software, while good, doesn't quite match the top dogs. It's a calculated bet on what they think users value most.
And finally, let's look at how the physical shape of our tech is evolving. We're seeing these two trends moving in completely opposite directions. On one hand, you have hyper-complex devices that bend and fold, and on the other, surprisingly simple displays that are all about saving power.
So on the complex end of the spectrum, Samsung is reportedly gearing up to launch a tri-fold device later this year. We've gotten used to phones that fold in half, but imagine a device that unfolds twice, transforming from a regular phone into a full-fledged tablet-sized screen. This could be a total game changer for reading and multitasking on the go.
But at the exact same time, another screen technology is gaining ground by going in the complete opposite direction. E-ink, the tech inside your Kindle, is being used for public signage, like these transit signs in Boston. And why? Because they use almost zero power. Once an image is on the screen, it stays there without drawing electricity. They're perfectly readable in bright sunlight and can be powered by tiny solar panels, making them a super simple, sustainable alternative to those power-hungry LEDs.
So, after all that, what's the big picture? What's the common thread connecting Apple's redesign, the AI race, face computers, and these crazy folding screens?
The through line this week is this fundamental tension that's really defining the next era of tech. Every single one of these innovations, from Apple's privacy-first AI to Meta's always-on glasses and Samsung's tri-fold phone, is asking us to redefine our relationship with our devices. They offer us immense convenience, but at what cost? Are we building a future that actually empowers us, or one that just demands more of our attention and our data than ever before? The crucial question we're all left with is what balance we as users ultimately want to strike. If you enjoyed the episode, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.